Hi everyone, my name is Susan Telford and I work for the Teachers of God Foundation. I'm delighted to be here today with one of our keynote speakers for the Awareness Conference, which begins tomorrow. I'm with Louise Kay. Hi Louise, it's lovely to see you. Thanks for agreeing to do this with us.
Hi Susan, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So Louise, as I say, Louise is one of the keynote speakers. Her session is on Sunday, the 18th of April, beginning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So I just want to introduce Louise for those of you that don't know her. She is a spiritual teacher who was born in Lancashire in England and started off after graduating from university as an English teacher. I think you were a teacher for about 15 years, Louise, were you?
Yes.
Yeah, I was also a teacher. I was a maths teacher. And during that time when you were teaching, you started to kind of ponder the meaning of life and go on a spiritual exploration of your own. So can you tell us a bit about that? What was that for you?
Yeah, I started to look for a deeper meaning, and questions started to arise. What is the purpose of my life? What is the meaning of all this? Waking up, going to work, going home, having dinner, going to bed, waking up. And there was a sense that there was something missing, but I didn't know exactly what was missing. And somehow I stumbled upon Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, and that really spoke to my heart, and something awakened in me when it was almost like the book gave me a transmission. And something in my heart knew this is the truth, this is what I've been looking for, this is it. But I didn't fully understand it. So that was kind of the opening to a journey of awakening and transformation and healing and integration, which on the level of the form, the human, as far as I'm aware today, it has no end. It just continues.
Yeah. So part of your journey was you went to India. Tell us
Yes.
about that. At what point in your journey was that?
That was maybe 7 years after this initial awakening. India started showing up, just, meeting people that talk about India. And I went to see Amma, and she was in the Netherlands where I was. And that was a bit like an India experience in Europe. And it's something awakened in my heart, and I wanted more of it. I felt there's some juice here, and I want to follow this. So at that point, I was teaching in Amsterdam, I was teaching English, and I just quit my job and I left my apartment, and I just got a one-way ticket to India. And
How long did you stay for?
About 3 months, I think, 2 or 3 months. And I've been back pretty much every year since, because it's a place that's very dear to my heart, because it was when I was there in India that a deeper awakening happened, where there was an opening to direct experience of the true self, and that never left since then.
So can you are you able to describe that? I know it's difficult to put these things into words, but are you able to give us a sense of what that opening was like?
Yes.
Is like?
Yes, it's the recognition that what I am is not the story centered around the conceptual I, which is the ego or the mind. That there's something deeper. That's what you could call the essence of me, and that's unchanging. It's pure awareness. And really it's best described in the silence or the stillness or the being, because any words are pointers to it and not it. So when we become really still and bring our attention fully present into this moment, and drop the attention into the body, and just notice our body breathing, then something's aware that I'm here. And then from here we can inquire into the nature of what is it that's aware? What is it exactly? We say, oh, it's me. I am aware, I am here.
Yes.
But what exactly is this I? Then I actually is a word that's referring to something. What is it referring to? So we can look within our own experience, and there it's sensed, not as a mental understanding or a belief that I am consciousness, but feeling it. And then we notice the sounds are arising or experienced in awareness. The thoughts that are arising are experienced in awareness. The sensations experienced in the body are experienced in awareness. There's nothing outside of awareness. There's nothing outside of me. And I awareness, I'm not changing. But there's all these movements, these forms, these objects of experience, dancing, changing, coming and going. So, well, if I believe myself to be the movements, then I'm missing the deeper aspect. But when there's a recognition that whatever's moving and changing is not me, but I'm that which is aware of it, then we discover a deeper peace.
Stillness. So I don't want to move from there.
Yeah, that's...
I don't even want to ask a question.
Exactly, that's how it is. Once we've tasted this stillness, it's so nourishing, it's so peaceful that we give up the search to seek a fulfillment or happiness externally, whether it's in food, whether it's in relationships, or going on our phones, or watching TV, or having some experience. That's usually the focus, where we're trying to get something. Then I'll feel satisfied. But the problem with this is that those external experiences are short-lived and they never fully satisfy us. So we're left with this constant void, like, I need something more, I need another hit, more, where's the next one coming from? And to know this deeper stillness, it's like coming home, like, oh, finally, I can give up that mechanism, that movement to seek something outside. Everything I've been looking for is right here within my very own being.
And that looking externally can kind of morph into a type of spiritual search, can't it? That never I don't want to speak about that. Can you speak about that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand. So many people come to the realization that I'm constantly seeking something externally, but I'm never really fully happy. Even people that get really super rich, or they find the perfect partner, the perfect family, the perfect house, everything we're told by society that if you have this, then you've made it. You're successful, you got it. Even people that experience all these things, something's still missing. And so many people start to recognize at some point or another that I'm not getting the fulfillment that my heart longs for. And that can ignite the spiritual search. Many people also experience deep suffering, whether it's through illness or loss, losing everything, some huge challenge on the level of form, and that suffering then can ignite the search. And that's a wonderful thing, because this search that's ignited, it's like the fire of truth starts to burn in our heart, and that's the gateway to deepening into being and discovering this deeper essence, our true self. So one of the traps with this is that the ego can then jump in and take that beautiful, authentic longing for truth and make it into a thing. So then the ego identifies as the spiritual seeker, or as the one who's, I'm spiritual. And that means I dress in a spiritual way, I listen to spiritual music, I watch spiritual videos, and that becomes the ego's new identity. So it's important to be mindful that the ego doesn't sneak in the back door in this way. Or we can spend our whole life as an egoic seeker and never actually bear the fruits of the potential for what's there once that fire has been ignited.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was meaning. That thing that keeps the perpetual search, yes, and not finding. So what is the I don't know if best way is the right terminology, but what is it that happens when the search is over? How do we come to that recognition so that the spiritual search, the ego doesn't keep searching for the next thing or the next teacher or the next experience or the next program, but actually comes to that recognition?
The primary interest must be in resting the attention as I am in every single moment, no matter what. It's very simple. In fact, it's so simple that it becomes difficult for us humans, because we've been conditioned to believe that anything with value, we have to work for it. It takes a long time. We have to study a lot, and we have to do something to achieve something to get there. And this is the total opposite. This is a total letting go of everything in order to discover that we're already here. So it's one of the great paradoxes of spirituality, where there's actually nothing that we need to do. There's nothing that we need to become. We already are that which we're seeking, and it's always here right now. It's just a matter of letting go, stopping, and becoming still. And the paradoxical part is that when we do the practices, the practicing presence, focusing our attention in the body, opening up to feeling the sensations, following the breath, all these wonderful practices, that is kind of like preparing the ground, or I sometimes describe it like if you plant a seed in the soil, in order for the seed to grow into a flower, it needs sunlight and water. And our sunlight is the presence, and water is higher consciousness, which is here when we are resting as I am. So there's nothing we need to do, just to stay here, and then that seed grows all by itself. The transformation and the flowering, the blossoming, happens as a result of us letting go and not doing anything at all, but just being.
Yeah, because we don't dig the seed up to see if the flower's growing.
Exactly. Yeah. And then the mind comes in and says, nothing's happening yet. I've been meditating. Why is nothing happening? I better check. Or if there's bread in the oven, it's not good to open the oven. Is it ready yet? You just keep it closed. And this is akin to when we're sitting in a field, like at the Zoom meetings that I do online, or if people go into satsang or retreat, there's a field generated where everyone has the same shared focused intention, and that field is like us sitting in the sunlight, just being. And for some people, there is this just like gradual opening of the curtains, where that sense of a conceptual I just parts, like the clouds parting to reveal the blue sky and the sun shining through. And for some people, it's like if you take the curtains and just, and there's the sun. So it's different for everybody. And some people have this big opening and then it closes again. And then it opens a bit, then it closes. And people are often asking, I'm experiencing this oscillation, this backwards and forwards, and recognizing I am that. And then identification with the mind comes in. And it's okay, it's good, it's part of the process. The system's learning with that. So sometimes then the mind comes in and says, okay, what do I need to do about that? Nothing, just be.
Yeah, I love that. We have a question from someone watching. Jane asks, so did the ego grow during our early years? Where does that ego come from and how did it develop?
The ego is actually a natural, healthy part of our human development, and we need the ego, and we need the mind. It's just what's unhealthy is when we stay stuck with identification with ego. So in a healthy society where there are a lot of spiritual teachings, if, for example, kids at kindergarten we're starting to practice meditation and understanding being present, then we would be a more emotionally and spiritually mature society. And then after the teenage years, when the ego fully develops through the teenage years, it would then begin to it's not that it would fall away, but we would transcend it in order to recognize that's not me. I am beyond that. And that then enables us to use the mind for its intended useful purpose, which is to make calculations, to schedule appointments. The mind's a wonderful tool, but the problem is that it's running the show. Yeah. And really the center, the power center, the true power center is our heart, which is the gateway to unconditional love. So it's only a matter of seeing where identification with the ego has taken place. And in seeing it, it already begins to fall away, and it sheds these layers to reveal what we truly are, which is already here, which we all are.
The blue sky that was already there behind the curtains.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember reading, and you mentioned the power of now. I remember Eckhart saying something along the lines of, the mind is a wonderful tool, but a terrible master. Have you found the off switch? I remember reading that thinking, there's an off switch. Mm-hmm. I didn't know there was an off switch at the point that I read that.
Yes.
So your session title on Sunday is Your True Nature is Pure Unconditional Love. So what will you be doing in the session, Louise?
So we will be having a guided meditation where people can follow along. And then I will be talking about our true nature being unconditional love, not as a means for people to absorb mental information and take on new beliefs, but as an invitation to open to the direct experience of truly knowing that for oneself, in one's own being, to know oneself as unconditional love. And then we'll be having a Q&A session, so people are welcome to ask questions or come up on screen.
Yeah, thank you. Kathy says, or asks rather, she said, beautiful sharing indeed. My question is, if we don't strive to work towards our goals and just be, what if I end up being mediocre and never achieve anything in my life?
That's a very good question. So the I that has the fear of being mediocre or the fear of not achieving anything is actually that ego mind. And it creates a sense of self, which is our self-image, the idea we have about ourselves, which is either a positive one or a negative one. If it expresses positively, it's kind of what we would call somebody that's egotistical, or in the UK we say big-headed, like, oh, look at me, look how amazing I am, let me show you more selfies on my Instagram. I'm so great, I'm so wonderful. And on the flip side of that coin is, oh, my life's not worth living, and nobody likes me, I don't have any value. So this egoic, it's almost like an entity, but it actually doesn't exist. It's just thought forms that are identified with. It seeks to enhance this sense of self. Whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't care. It just wants to feel, I am a me. And so when we are perceiving reality through that filter, it causes us to try to manipulate outer circumstances and to control and direct our life, so that we can become successful, so that we can feel I have worth. Now, what it means to surrender and transcend that egoic mind is to totally let go of me as that conceptual self. So to let go of all the desires that I thinks it wants. I want this and then I'll get happy. Then I'll be happy. I want this and then I'll have worth. I want this, then people will love me. I want this, then I will be accepted, to let it all go. And wow, that's scary for the ego mind, because then we have a total unknown. Who am I? Without those stories, without those desires, without those fears, what is here? Pure consciousness. When we open to this pure consciousness, the higher intelligence of the divine has space to flow through us and express in form, in life. But it's no longer me and my ideas of my little mind. It's I am an empty vessel, which is pure awareness. And I am here for God's will to flow as it wishes. I have no need for love, for acceptance, for recognition. I just am.
Beautiful. And then there's a sense of being lived.
Yes. And that's what brings our deeper sense of satisfaction and fulfillment in life, because then we're connected. We're connected within. We're connected to that divine, and there's a recognition, I am that divine.
Thank you so much, Louise. This has just been lovely. I'm really looking forward to Sunday. One last question I'd like to ask you, because you mentioned it at the start when you were speaking about Eckhart Tolle's book, The Power of Now, that you felt a type of transmission through that. And I felt that with you here today, a type of transmission. What is that? I feel that even though we're on a screen, you know, we're thousands of miles apart, I feel that field that's been generated and some kind of transmission. Can you speak about that just in closing?
Yes, that what you're feeling is something inside of you that's recognizing something that's being shared or spoken, or some energy, as being the truth of what you know yourself to be. It awakens. So here the invitation is for all beings who have an interest to awaken to this. And you obviously have a deep, authentic, genuine interest, and your system enjoys that invitation. So often when that invitation is presented, it can feel like, well, yeah, I want to drink that. I want to open more to that. And sometimes it just needs somebody to point us in the direction. Yeah, here's the opening. It's happening in you. It's already there in you.
Yeah. So that is what there is to look forward to with Louise on Sunday, that possibility, that invitation. So the link to the awareness conference is in the comments below. Please share this with your friends. Press share under the video. And Louise will be with us on Sunday, the 18th of April, this coming Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much, Louise, for joining me today. It's had quite a profound effect on me.
Wonderful. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.